I'm in this looking at some special editions, and a few of them catch my eye. There's a Mirror's Edge there for about £60, which I really like. Cyberpunk was £140, I think that's like £10 cheaper than CEX, but still, something else that then catches my eye. What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the free Trading Game Collection Challenge, the series where I build a video game collection without spending any money on it. If you haven't missed any of the episodes up until this point, there's a playlist linked down below, right next to today's sponsor. Thank you to today's sponsor, K4G.com, a digital goods platform for PC and console gaming. So if you're looking for the latest releases, such as Football Manager 2023, they have you covered with huge discounts. Pre-order the latest games from Forspoken to Dead Space. These also have pretty significant discounts. They also have 24/7 support and over 4,000 positive reviews on Trustpilot. They also carry a huge selection of gift cards, so whatever you're looking for, I'm sure there's something for you. If you use the code TVM at checkout, you get yourself a nice 10% discount. All the links are found in the description. So I usually start these videos off by explaining how we do things. I'm going to very briefly do that now. This entire collection behind me has been acquired for free, as many people like to point out. Basically, in the very beginning, I've gone out and I've bought a few things, sold a part of it on to make the money back, and in some cases make a profit, and then take whatever's left over into CEX. We've developed that lately into more of a, if we like it, we'll keep it. If we don't, we'll take it in and trade it in. We've accumulated over £400 in profit in this series so far, and the collection is worth over £2,000, which is really impressive to me because I genuinely didn't think I'd be able to do this. This series has been inspired by many people. Retro Rick is probably the biggest person it's been inspired by, so if you haven't checked out his videos, please feel free to do so. He started off like a $10 game collection challenge, and he's moved on now to even owning his own game store, and he's moved away from that kind of content. However, that really did inspire me to start this. Now, I didn't want to start with a budget necessarily. I wanted to just go out and see if I could make a profit and maybe use that profit to buy video games. And it's kind of developed into what you see behind me right now. I never claimed to be an expert on these things. I am learning. I know a lot about a particular time period in video games. I'm talking maybe Sega Mega Drive, and then we skip forward to Xbox 360. I know a lot about that because I played a lot of games during that time, worked in a video game store during that time as well. Anything beyond that, I don't really know an awful lot about, so I am still learning. So some things I just won't know, or I'll make mistakes and I'll say things that aren't true. So don't take anything I say as gospel. But anyway, without any further ado, let's get into today's video. So in video 2 ago, I sold a PlayStation 3. We are going to replace that console today with another console. So, going to Regenerate. This is a pawn shop here in the UK. There's one in Swindon, and there's a few in Wales, like Newport and Cwmbran, I think. There's a few other places as well. I'm in this looking at some special editions, and a few of them catch my eye. There's a Mirror's Edge there for about £60, which I really like. Cyberpunk was £140, I think that's like £10 cheaper than CEX, but still, something else that then catches my eye, obviously the video games. I'm looking through all the Switch and stuff. They've got some PS1 there. We are trying to downsize the PlayStation 1 collection to almost nothing. I just want like very few games there that I played growing up. I didn't really play the PlayStation 1 anywhere near as much as a lot of other people did, so only a few games that I really care about on that console. Gran Turismo being one of them, maybe the GTAs and stuff. But either way, I kind of decided not to buy anything, and I went to leave, and then there's a few glass cabinets with consoles in and maybe some higher priced games, so I started looking at those, and something caught my eye. Literally, the furthest over to the left you could possibly be up against the wall of the cabinet, and it caught my eye. It was an Xbox 360 console for $24.99, but it wasn't an old system. It was the newest Xbox 360 that they created. They created the e-console to go alongside the Xbox One. It kind of looks the same, well, very similar at least anyway. $24.99 for this. 4 gig, no hard drive, but obviously expandable memory, so you can put a hard drive in there if you really want to, and they're really not expensive. But the only reason, as far as I can tell anyway, that you need a hard drive in the Xbox 360 is if you want to install your games or download your games. I think there are very few to no games that require installation, so it's just save games, and 4 gig for save games on the Xbox 360 is perfectly fine. I don't need more than that. When it comes to bigger games, some Rockstar games potentially. I might need a hard drive, but I thought $24.99, that's a good deal. Had a little look on eBay. Turns out, can't really get an Xbox 360 e-console for less than around £45-50 in good condition with the controller and the power supply. So I bought it. I thought, why not? We'll replace the PlayStation. The PlayStation sold with the very small collection of games that we had for about £60. Minus fees and stuff. That was all calculated into the cash profit and taken away from the collection value. So I've replaced the PS3 with a console that I played, which was the Xbox 360. I bought the PS3 initially in this series because I found it in a car boot sale for £10, and I thought, why not buy it and we'll just keep it in the collection for now. But as time went on, I was looking at PlayStation 3 games in CEX and nothing stood out to me because everything around that sort of time period I played on the 360, and even though they're basically the same games, I kind of want them on the 360, and I feel like a lot of the games on the Xbox are cheaper than PlayStation, for the most part anyway. There are obviously going to be a few exceptions to that rule, but I bought the Xbox. So here it is. Here's the console itself. Now I have tested this and it works perfectly well. I tested it with Beijing 2008, I want to say. I love that game. Big fan of that game. Really, a lot of fun. One of the best, if not the best, Olympic game that they have ever made on any platform. It kind of went away from the whole button mashing thing to strategic button presses and things. I don't like the newer ones, but it seemed to run it well. I didn't need to sign into a profile, which, you always used to have to do, so maybe that's been a recent update that they've done so that you can just get straight into games. I'm not sure. Didn't ask me to install it. I didn't need to download anything. I just popped the game in and I started playing it. And the load times were really snappy. This isn't a performance upgrade over the Slim. All it does really is it looks different, and I think the ventilation inside is different to obviously help with cooling. So I did give it a once over. It doesn't come with a hard drive. I kind of thought that they'd maybe make a mistake and give me something that wasn't advertised, but there it is. It does say $29.99 or $95.99 on there, but it was a sale. The 250 gig or 320 gig model that they had of this console was £55 with 2 controllers, which I thought was a little bit ludicrous given the fact that you can buy a 250 gig hard drive in CEX for £10. So all I need to do, walk into CEX, 10 quid, upgrade this to 250 gig hard drive, and anything that requires a hard drive from now on I can play. I can install, I can download, I can do whatever I want. So I am very happy to add this. Now, did it come with everything? Yes, it did. We get a 12-month warranty, which is obviously something you don't get if you buy it in a boot sale. So that PlayStation, for example, didn't have any warranty with it at all. It came with a control pad. It also came with this box of cables. Now here is the box of cables. This is interesting. This was sealed when I got it. You know what a sealed box looks like, so there's no point me showing you what that looks like. But inside, right, was this power supply with obviously all the cables and power you need, and it works perfectly. It is official Microsoft. I've tested it. It also came with a HDMI cable, which was nice because they absolutely didn't have to include that because they're so common. Everyone has them. There we go. But also it came with this. And the box is empty, so I'll put that down. But I'm going to show you something else that came in the box as well, which really took me by surprise, to the point where I know what's happened. So this is a charge cable. This isn't an official one, unfortunately. This is unofficial, so it obviously goes into this controller. This doesn't have an original back to it, which is a little bit of a shame. I hate these things, rechargeable battery packs. I mean, it makes sense, but I do prefer the battery backs. The Xbox One that I have, the back to that is also a battery pack, and it doesn't have the original back to it, which is really frustrating. But it comes with that cable. Now, the other thing in there was another controller with another one, again unofficial, the exact same one, recharge thing. So haven't tested this, don't know if it works, assuming it does because they would have tested it before they brought it in. I was given the wrong box. I was given a box of wires that belonged to the 250 or 320, I can't remember what memory it was. So yeah, they've made a mistake, but I'm not going to go back and correct them on it because I've got a controller and a charge cable for free. Now obviously, it's not like I've just fleeced them out of like hundreds of pounds. This is probably £10 to £15 worth of kit right here, but where you get stuff for free, you do not complain about it, and that's not what I'm going to do right here. So I could sell it, I'm just going to keep it for now because you never know when you could need an extra Xbox 360 controller. Let me know down below, what is your favourite games console controller of all time? Because this right here, the Xbox 360 controller, is by far my favourite controller of all time. Better than the Xbox One, better than PS5. This is a masterpiece of a controller. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to tell here, but I have moved this around a little bit. I am going to move the movies, which are now out of shot, to a different room. I've decided not to have the movie collection in this room. I think they're going to go in the living room. The next video on the channel after this one will be a movie collection update where I go out and pick up a couple of new movies. There is a little bit of a happy, not coincidence, but just a happy thing that happens, I guess, involving CEX in that video, and I do find something that's worth a little bit of money as well, which is not bad. But my point is, this Xbox 360 collection is about to expand. I am going to have to put shelves. I think I'm going to put another shelving unit up here. We're going to move all the collectibles above the TV over here. A lot of things are not going to be in shot going forward, but that's just going to be the way it has to happen. So with this Xbox 360 collection right here, there are a couple of games in it and I'm not that bothered by Watch Dogs, etc., but they're just not worth anything and not worth selling on. So what I'm going to do right now, because we've just picked up a 360, we're going to go to CEX and we're going to buy a few, I would say essentials. Some of them that I've bought are not essentials, but I am going to buy a few extra games to go with that console to beef up the collection a little bit. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, LA Noire. Now I want that on the PS4. It hasn't been graphically remastered, it's been touched up. It's just the performance of it, it would run better. The load times wouldn't be anywhere near as long as the original platform. But I saw something that I could not pass up, and that was the complete edition for £6. And I had to buy it. 4 discs included, the manual is in there as well. Opens up where you have the artwork on the back of, where is it? There it is, on the back of the whole sort of pull out, if you will, and there are the 4 discs in there with the manual as well. It's just a really nice piece, if you will, to have in the collection, and it's what I would put it up there with one of my most enjoyable games of all time. You know, you get a lot of gangster mafia type games. This is the other side of that. You are the cop in this and you move up between departments. I think you start off as a beat cop. I think you go to Vice at one point as well, solving crimes, chasing down bad guys. It is a very, very good, long, detailed game that I think anyone that is a fan of that sort of 40s, 50s time period absolutely has to play. And for £6, even though I will probably still get this on the PlayStation 4 at some point, is a must for any Xbox 360 or, in fact, PlayStation 3 collection. Next, I'm going to talk about the cheapest game that I picked up and the one that no one is going to care about whatsoever, but this is, I believe, a console exclusive. It is Don King presents Prize Fighter. I really enjoy boxing games. Fight Night Champion, probably the best that has ever been released. This, I wouldn't say caught me by surprise. I saw this years and years ago. I can't remember what year it came out, but I bought it as a stopgap between, I think it was like 2008, 2009 it came out. I did look at the back, but it doesn't really tell me. 2008, Take-Two Interactive. In and around that time, I bought it as a stopgap between Fight Night Round 4, I think, and Champion. And it was alright, you know, it's got some decent music in it, it's not a terrible game, it's not a great game by any stretch of the imagination, but for £1, for something to chuck in every now and again and have a little bit of a bash on, quite literally, don't mind it, so had to pick that up. So lately I've been on a bit of a Turtles kick. Can you see where I'm going with this? Which one though, that's the question. So on a bit of a Turtles kick, picked up 2 Pops. I say picked up, I had them in the collection anyway, moved them over from my personal collection to the game collection, picked this up recently as well, and then we picked up Cowabunga Collection on PlayStation 5 and Shredder's Revenge on the PS4. I don't think I've picked anything else up Turtles until now. This is Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja. It is Ninja, yeah, not Hero. Ninja Turtles, £4. Don't like these turtles at all. Their feet are massive and there's absolutely no need for it. I don't like the art style of these turtles. Didn't watch any of these cartoons because these are the newer but not newest, if that makes sense. I can't remember what year this came out, 2013 according to the back. I've seen some of the gameplay, you're seeing some of the gameplay now. It looks like it could be semi-enjoyable, but for £4, a Turtles game, I kind of want to pick it up. Any Turtles game that I have a console for, I want to pick up. So there are a few more on the 360 that I'll get to, but that one was definitely coming home with me. So before we get into, I wouldn't say the deal of the century, but I definitely got a decent deal on it, and there is a reason, 2 reasons why I've picked it up. Let's talk about an absolute staple. Now, I wanted the complete Game of the Year Definitive Edition, but it was nearly £17 more expensive. I am talking Fallout New Vegas. Now, I really, really enjoy the Fallout games. Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, they came out very close to each other. Obviously, Fallout 3 came out first. This one came out, and it was very similar, but it had more of a reddish tint to it, and it was set in Vegas, essentially. A lot of people consider this to be the better game. I think I enjoyed Fallout 3 just a little bit more. I think I got into it a little bit more, but I still really enjoyed this. £3.50. I think it's complete. Which is nice as well. The receipt is in there. Does it come with it doesn't come with a map. I don't know if it ever did, but there it is. The original manual and everything. Like I said, there is a definitive edition of this where you get all the DLC and everything included on the disc, and I do really want that, but for £20, I couldn't really justify buying it there and then, so I just went with the bog standard. And if I get to a point where I've finished this and I need that little bit more, I will eventually get the Game of the Year, or whatever it's called, edition. But I'm kind of going to be on the lookout for that, and I want to spend less than 20, or at least have a voucher to pay for it. I don't really want to be paying cash for that. But yeah, there it is. Again, any PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 collection needs this game in it. Fallout 3 will follow suit, because I don't think I have it in the collection at the moment, but that's cheap enough anyway. And I think there is a Game of the Year edition of that as well, but I think that's only £8 as opposed to the 20 that this one commands. And I've just checked, no, we don't have Fallout 3 in the collection, so I will definitely need to do that. The Xbox 360 collection for me has been a little bit, like, I've been collecting for it and buying the odd game here or there, but I've kind of half been neglecting it, and I don't really know what's in it. And the reason for that is because I haven't been able to play any of it. I can tell you what's in the PlayStation 4 and the Mega Drive and the Switch collections because I've been picking up the odd game here or there and playing through them. I've started Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. I'm actually a little bit addicted to that game. I keep thinking about it, and it's not even like I'm doing the story. I've done the first 2 chapters, I think. All I do is I go into Valentine, I go for dinner in the saloon, I have a little bit of a drink, get a little bit merry, go over to the hotel, have a bit of a nap, go out on my horse, say hello to everyone. It's weird, I could do that in real life, I guess, maybe not on a horse. But yeah, just kind of like Sheldon from Big Bang, I like to take my troubles out by having a little jaunt through Valentine and having a bit of a punch-up. It's just a really good game, and you don't even need to be doing any of the story to enjoy it. Anyway, sidetracked. With the Xbox 360, I kind of forget what's in it because I've not been playing it, but now I've got the ability to play it. I'll remember what games I have for it. This one was marked up wrong. It wasn't quite as good as the deal someone sent me on Twitter the other day. They got Vice City Stories on the PS2, which should have been like £15 for £4 because an employee stuck the Vice City sticker on it that was £4, not Vice City Stories. So big come up for them. Very similar situation here. This was originally £6. It has gone up to £8, but they've not changed the price. It is Turtles Mutants in Manhattan, which was a very late release in the Xbox 360 lifestyle, so late in fact that it got a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One release to coincide with it. I think obviously it's out on PlayStation 3 as well. I think it was 2016. I think it was. I can't see it on the back. There it is, Viacom 2016. So, love the art style of this. They're not the Turtles. They're not quite the Turtles that I like, but I like the way that they're drawn, if you will. I like the art style of it, and the game itself looks decent. I do want this on the PS4, but the reason I've picked it up on the 360 is because it's a game that was released quite late very late actually into the life cycle of the Xbox 360. This was 2 years after the Xbox One was released, so the fact that they were still supporting it at that point, even though the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One was very, very popular, they sold a lot of units in the first 2 years. This is only ever going to go up in price. You can go back and look at any game you want. FIFAs, for example, that were released in 2016 are actually worth a little bit, and FIFA's not worth anything past the first year it's out. But on the older consoles, because it's such a late release, it's definitely going to be worth something. But this has already gone up to £8, but I got it for £6, as you can see. And I couldn't leave it there because I saw the mistake and I thought, I'm going to have to pick it up. Because I knew they would honour it. Fair play to CEX. I do slag them off a lot. But when it comes to making mistakes like this, he didn't even question it. He literally just scanned it and overrided it. You could see that what he was doing. So big props to CEX for just, honouring whatever mistakes that they make. Not whatever mistakes they make, maybe just pricing mistakes, should we say. They don't honour every mistake. There we are. I can't help but slag them off when I'm praising them, so there we are. This, unfortunately, doesn't come with a manual, which is something that I would like to see in there, but, for £6, I'm not going to leave it there. I will eventually pick up the PlayStation 4 version as well, but the PS4 version is considerably more expensive than this. I think that's £25 or something stupid. I'm hoping that'll come down eventually, but I'm pretty sure this will go up in price over time. But something to put into the collection, and that's the final game that I picked up to go with my new Xbox 360. I do need a hard drive because I wouldn't say I'm certain, but LA Noire is a huge game. It's 4 discs. I'm almost sure I have to install something, so I am going to need a hard drive to play LA Noire. But like most other games, like for instance this, you can just pop this in and play it. You don't need to install anything. Vegas, I would imagine you can just pop it in and play it because it is only 1 disc, but it might help to install. Either way, like I said in the beginning of the video, the 250 gig hard drive in CEX is £10. So I'm just going to pick one of those up. And if I need be in the future, I will just get a Seagate hard drive or something, USB, plug it into the back, and we can store games on there. And they're not that expensive, really, because again, I'm only going to need like 200-300 gigs worth. So well, going forward, we're just going to look to pick up a hard drive. But for right now, 5 games to add to the collection. Don King isn't a staple of any platform. I think it only came out 360. But I just wanted it because it was £1 and I thought, why not? LA Noire, you have to have it. The 2 Turtles games, because they go into that sort of like Turtles kick that we're on right now. And then, of course, Fallout New Vegas, you kind of have to have. But there they are. Very, very happy to add those to the collection. That's going to beef up the 360 collection quite a lot. There are a lot of games on the Xbox 360 that I want to buy. I do like to be quite conservative and picky with what I buy. I don't just buy anything and everything, but I played a lot of games on the 360. Even though the Mega Drive is my favourite console of all time, the 360 is the one that I played the most. So, and I played the biggest variety of games, so I will have a huge 360 collection by the end of this whole thing, mark my words. But that is the way we're going to sort of re-kick it off. If you have enjoyed this episode of the Free Trading Game Collection Challenge, do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.